Dirty Dan. I don't know what you mean. I'm Dirty Dan.
It's absolutely amazing.
I'm Dirty Dan.
Whoa, Dirty Dan.
How will the world end? It's a question that's haunted humanity for as long as we can remember. Will it be from nuclear war, or AI taking over, or some kind of disease wiping us out? Now, there have been many different works of fiction that explore all of these different possibilities. But what if I told you there is one piece of media out there that shows us a possibility that nobody has considered yet? And that's because it was hidden inside of a children's educational TV show. Teletubbies dares to ask a question that shows us the darkest, most horrifying fate for humanity.
Like Astro.
What if the sun was a baby?
Like Astro gonna kill us all.
It's possible I went a little too far with this video. Teletubbies is essentially just jingly keys to distract babies. It's not like Blue's Clues or Magic School Bus where there is some semblance of a plot or conflict. Teletubbies is just kind of nothing. There is no substance to this show, which is understandable because it was made for literally 1-year-old babies.
Ho was my nigga. Ho was a real nigga.
I will now try and describe the plot of this show. Teletubbies are these weird-looking alien baby things that live in a bunker in Teletubby land, and they just kind of walk around doing nothing.
Dipsy was black
until a
too.
creepy
Dipsy was my
speaker
nigga too.
slowly comes out of the ground and tells them what to do.
Time for Tubby bye-bye. Time for Tubby bye-bye.
And there is also this giant sun baby thing that is constantly watching and laughing at them. And there is also a windmill that sends videos to their stomachs of just some random kids also kind of doing nothing for like 5 minutes.
Maybe it was controlling my brain. That tube stank. That tube stank.
And it is so boring and by far the worst part of this show. And then when they're finally done with it, they literally just watch the exact same video again. Because all this show is trying to do is just waste time distracting babies with jingly keys for as long as humanly possible. And I have watched so much Teletubbies for this video, and I hate it. Also, there's a vacuum cleaner named Nunu that looks like he's constantly in pain.
Nah, Nunu looked like he's on drugs and does favors for drugs. That's what that nigga looked like.
Nunu is my favorite character because I can relate to him. And look, I get it. This is a baby show, I am not the target audience, and hopefully neither are the people watching this video. There is clearly no actual lore or world building here for me to discuss. 9 years ago, I even made another parody video of dark, edgy Teletubby theories.
Now why don't we watch a little bit of Teletubbies and see what we find. We see the show using overstimulating vibrant colors to mimic the psychedelic effects of LSD.
You know, that was just me making fun of losers who genuinely try to analyze this baby stuff. Anyways, here's my genuine analysis of Teletubbies. Despite everything I have just said, I do believe that there is a way to make sense of every weird random detail in this show. And it starts by asking,
We said, wait, how can he relate to him? That's why I said to her, like, wait, what do you mean? You can, and I thought his name was Snuffleupagus. I always called him that, or Snuffy. Or was that on, like, that must have been, maybe that was on Sesame Street, but like, I don't know what you mean by that either, bro. What do you mean by you can relate to them?
A very simple question. Where is Teletubby Land?
Over the hills and far away, Teletubbies come to play.
It looks like Earth with the nature and rabbits, but we never actually see any humans. For all we know, this could be some distant alien planet or magical alternate dimension. But we know Teletubbies do have some kind of connection to humanity. The weird speakers are constantly telling them to do human things, and they are constantly being sent videos of human children in the real world.
Hi, I'm Romy. Let's make some bagels.
And I feel like the intro at the start of every episode does imply that Teletubby Land is on Earth somewhere.
Over the hills and far away.
Over the hills and far away. They are telling us where the show takes place in relation to us, the viewer. And to get there, we need to go over the hills that are in our way, as opposed to like going through space or a magical portal. Meaning Teletubby Land is likely on Earth. But this doesn't make sense, because Teletubby Land has a weird sentient baby face sun, but in the human videos, we can see that they just have a regular normal sun with no face. So if they're both supposed to be on Earth, then why is the sun different?
That's true. Whenever they show the shit on Earth, it's a regular sun. Teletubby Land is always black ass trail. Hold on. Gotta be two different universes, two different planets or something.
Well, maybe it's not a question of where Teletubby Land is, but when. What if Teletubbies takes place on Earth in the future sometime after the normal sun somehow grew a baby face? And if that sounds far-fetched, then take a closer look at these human videos. Now, in most kids' educational shows, these types of segments are like Blue's Clues, where Steve gets sent mail from children who are fans of the show and say, "Hi Steve, I love Blue's Clues."
Look, it's a letter from our friends.
Hi, Steve.
I'm locked now.
My classroom.
But in all 485 episodes of both the original and 2015 revival of Teletubbies, not once do the children ever acknowledge the fact that these videos are being sent to Teletubbies.
Hello, my name's Daniel. Hello, I'm Stephanie.
They never even say the word Teletubby, which feels like a very weird, deliberate choice. For all intents and purposes, these are just random videos of humanity that could have been made long before Teletubbies ever even existed. And this all gets a lot more interesting when we take a look at the most recent Netflix Teletubbies reboot from 2022.
I didn't even know they did it.
Far away, Teletubbies come to play.
This reboot makes a couple very interesting changes to the show.
I know they did a
one of them being to the human video segments.
Oh, Dipsy. Hi. Hi there. Hi. Hi,
Instead of just a couple random kids out in the world.
Wait a minute, you know what I just peeped?
These videos now take place inside of a single couple.
So I just noticed Dipsy is like the only black one. And then like he had a show and it was like Dipsy is my nigga and he is a nigga, but it had a whole bunch of like black kids around in the television in his belly as well. That tube don't stink no more. What did he say? So it's reality TV or them. For them. See, got niggas thinking.
Instead of just a couple random kids out in the world, these videos now take place inside of a single reoccurring location, with a woman named Julia who sings a song with a group of different children every episode.
You are a rocket, a super fast rocket, then run and touch a star.
And what's immediately different about these videos is that for the first time ever in the 27 years of this show airing, there actually is a direct acknowledgement of Teletubbies from a human being. Julia's shirt clearly shows the 4 Teletubby heads, meaning these videos in particular are not from the past. They are being made explicitly for Teletubbies to watch, and the humans in these videos exist at the same time as the show, which obviously begs the question, what does the sun look like for these humans? Well, here's the strange thing about these new videos. We never get to see the sun. In fact, the kids in these videos never actually go outside, which is very strange when you compare that to the years worth of previous human videos that are almost always outside. There does seem to be windows, but unlike the windows we see in previous videos or even in Teletubby Land,
you can't even see outside.
These are weirdly opaque, never actually showing us the outside world. The best we get is this obviously fake depiction of the sky on the ceiling. For some reason, these videos feel completely cut off from the outside world. Where are these people? Hang on a second.
I know what he's talking about.
What if over the hills doesn't mean Teletubby Land is behind hills? What if Teletubby Land is literally over the hills, as in on top of them, and this room is somewhere deep underground, completely cut off from the outside world? And if that seems too far-fetched, remember where the speakers come from.
Underground.
Time for Tubby Bye-Bye. Time for Tubby Bye-Bye.
They come from underground. The speakers with a human adult voice telling the Teletubbies what to do come from the same place where an adult woman wearing a Teletubby uniform makes videos. In the future world of Teletubbies, humanity lives underground. But why? Well, once again, I think this all has to do
with Black Ass
the
Trail.
sun.
What you do, Trail? The sun woke up. Oh shit.
Imagine a world where everything is normal. You go to work, walk your dog, watch YouTube videos, but then, one day, suddenly, without any warning or explanation, the sun wakes up. You realize that the giant ball of gas in the sky that gave humanity life was actually a cosmic sentient being all along. But it's not some unknowable Lovecraftian Cthulhu entity. It's just a baby. Okay, that's disturbing, but so what? Well, our sun is already extremely volatile, constantly exploding and erupting with unstable solar flares that can release dangerous radiation towards Earth. Scientists even believe that we could be hit with a solar superstorm one day that could be devastating to human infrastructure. Now, imagine if all of that power was given to an unpredictable, moody baby. A baby that we know is very interested in watching and reacting to the denizens of Earth.
Ba, 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 ba.
In fact, we could even see that when the baby sun gets a little too excited, the brightness of the sun suddenly increases.
That is true.
So, when this baby first wakes up and opens its eyes and looks down at the people of Earth, what would it see? That baby would immediately throw a massive tantrum.
That's
so
true.
If humanity went underground after this baby showed up, then I think it's because this baby had some kind of catastrophic effect on the Earth, making the surface completely uninhabitable for humans. And if you don't believe me yet, remember those drawings of a smiling sun we kept seeing in the new videos?
Yeah.
Well, there actually is just a single episode of the reboot that shows a drawing of a sun without a face. But what's interesting is that it also shows people and a car and maybe even a police officer below the sun. Unlike the drawings with the smiling sun that only ever show grass and flowers and no signs of humanity, just like Teletubby Land. These drawings are telling us that when the smiling baby sun came out, humanity disappeared. Yes, I believe that Teletubbies is set in a post-apocalyptic world where humanity was forced underground because the baby sun woke up. But then, what exactly are these weird creatures we see on the surface? Well, even if humanity could survive underground forever, the sentient baby sun is still up there. If they're ever gonna reclaim the surface world, or even just prevent an even bigger world-destroying tantrum, they need to address this problem. So, how do you appease an unpredictable, moody baby with unlimited power? You jingle keys in front of them. The humans created Teletubbies, 4 creatures that could withstand the dangers of the sun, and sent them to the uninhabitable surface to keep the baby sun entertained and calm for as long as possible. Teletubbies literally is jingly keys for a baby. Every episode starts and ends with this baby. They are constantly cutting back to the sun's reaction every time the Teletubbies do something. Because the sun is the intended audience for this show. It's why everything the Teletubbies do is so heavily controlled by unseen humans.
Po showed Lala the tutor.
This dumb baby show is actually a very high-stakes operation to protect what little remains of humanity. And if you still don't believe me, then let me ask you this. What are Teletubbies? They're weird, big baby things that seem to have technology integrated into their bodies. But let's ask the creators of this show, what was the initial idea behind Teletubbies?
We decided we'd go to the Smithsonian and we saw the actual spacesuits of men who not that long ago walked on the moon. You know, isn't it amazing? There's all this technology and you look at them and they just look like babies with nappies on toddling about.
And they were basically NASA spacemen. They were very easily surprised by things and fell over all the time, and when they were worried about things, they hugged each other.
They were based on astronauts, aka people sent by humanity in technological suits designed to withstand inhospitable environments. Once you compare moon landing footage to Teletubbies, you can never
That is
unsee
true.
it.
Damn. They do move like astronauts. Damn, I'm not gonna unsee that now. Real shit. They do move like astronauts.
Technological suits designed to withstand inhospitable environments. Once you compare moon landing footage to Teletubbies, you can never unsee it.
Over the hills and far away, Teletubbies come to play.
Tinky Winky, Dipsy, La La, Po,
For real.
say hello.
And this is only the
That's
tip of the
crazy.
iceberg. Once you start viewing the show through this lens, everything that once seemed like weird, pointless nonsense suddenly takes on a whole new meaning. The Teletubbies live in a bunker-type structure beneath a hill, a shelter designed specifically for Teletubbies.
See,
Teletubbies come
Bro.
to play.
Tinky Winky, Dipsy, La La, Po, Teletubbies,
He busted shit.
say hello.
Bro, I see it now. Damn,
And
that's
this
nuts.
is only the tip
I
of
see
the
it.
iceberg. Once you start viewing the show through this lens, everything that once seemed like weird, pointless nonsense suddenly takes on a whole new meaning. The Teletubbies live in a bunker-type structure
it.
beneath
I'm
a
seeing
hill,
the vision.
a shelter designed specifically to survive a harsh environment. The Teletubbies are surrounded by advanced technology that obviously these dumb baby creatures didn't make. The technology was made by humans to take care of and control their creations. The windmill obviously functions as some kind of signal tower to receive videos from the underground humans. But it also works as a form of renewable energy in this world without any functioning human infrastructure. Teletubby Land itself is covered in plants, the only form of life that would be able to adapt and thrive in harsh sunlight. The Teletubby shelter has been completely covered in grass, and we see flowers suddenly popping up all the time.
It was a really big flower.
Clearly, plants are thriving in this new sun baby world. Okay, but what about the rabbits? Why are they the only animal we see on the surface? It's not like rabbits are especially resilient to sunlight. Well, what are rabbits known for? Firstly, they are extremely fast breeders. They would be the perfect species to send to the surface to quickly repopulate the Earth's ecosystem. In fact, they are such fast breeders that apparently the crew filming the show kept having to pause the shoot because the rabbits kept having sex in the background. And secondly, rabbits are also commonly used by humans for laboratory testing and genetic modification. So maybe, much like the Teletubbies, these rabbits were genetically modified by humans to survive the surface world. This theory wraps up a lot of loose ends about the original show. But once again, the 2022 Netflix Teletubbies reboot has some very interesting differences. And this is where things get a little more disturbing.
I'm locked in. The others.
So the new Teletubbies reboot has 3 very interesting changes. First, as I've already explained, the human videos are now with Julia in a post-Teletubby world. They no longer just show old random videos of humanity. Suddenly, everything is now custom-made for the Teletubbies. Second, there are now Tiddlytubbies in the bunker.
Nigga, what the fuck is a Tiddlytubby? I thought the Teletubbies were babies, so now there's baby Teletubby babies? What the fuck are Tiddlytubbies?
These horrifying CGI monstrosities are new baby Teletubbies that just exist now with no explanation. And finally, the strangest change of all. Every episode, the baby son has a completely new face.
What? The baby change? What?
Why? What does this mean? All of these changes are so sudden and random, and none of them really fit into my theory. You guys don't understand. I have watched hours and hours of this extremely boring baby show to try and make sense of this, and I almost gave up. But then, I finally found a single episode of Teletubbies that changed my entire view of this universe. Episode 56 of the 2015 revival called Twinkle Twinkle. In this single episode, for the first and only time in the over 500 episodes of Teletubby canon, it becomes night, and we watch the Teletubbies leave their bunker and look up at the night sky.
Oh, look!
Tinky Winky saw a star.
Ah, Tinky Winky star!
The star.
Tinky Winky star!
Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are.
Tinky Winky discovers a star that is singing to him, and for me, this implies 3 things. First, there are other sentient stars out there. It's not just our sun. For all we know, all stars in this universe could actually be sentient. And second, the star has an adult voice. So this is likely what our baby sun will one day grow into. And finally, the most unsettling implication here is that other stars have begun to notice the Teletubbies. And suddenly, the 2022 reboot makes a lot more sense. Humanity's plan to use Teletubbies to entertain the cosmic horror baby sun worked, but it worked a little too well, because now they've started attracting other baby suns.
Other baby suns.
This is a whole new problem for humanity, and 4 Teletubbies is not enough to appease all of these sun babies, which is why they've suddenly begun to create more.
Breezy, if I try to explain this to you, you would not fucking understand, and you'd be like, bro, what the hell? We're almost done. It's basically while Black Ash Trail is the sun baby and it destroyed the earth. We have 1 minute left. I'm going to post this on YouTube, so you're going to see it on one of the scams. Like, I ain't gonna lie, this was a lot of information. But I
just
get it.
Watching old videos of humanity isn't enough. The humans below the earth have to custom make higher quality videos with more children to keep the babies entertained. Humans are so desperate to meet the demands of all of these new sun babies that they are willing to do anything to appease them.
Just wait till you hear me say the words blast off, then run and touch a star.
Wait a second. Why would they be teaching children to touch the stars?
Then run and touch a star.
Wouldn't that be like the last thing they'd want to tell children to do? The whole reason they're down here is because of how dangerous stars are, right? Unless they're preparing these children to go to the surface? Wait, are these kids the Teletubbies? Is this where Teletubbies come from? They've been human children the whole time? No! So yeah, that is my theory. Teletubbies is actually a post-apocalypse where humans live underground and are turning children into Teletubbies and sending them to the surface to entertain giant sun baby gods.
You know it's real when I can't process it enough. Yeah, I'm like, I ain't gonna lie, bro. Shout out Alex Bell. That was a lot.